2. Alrighty, guys. Bobby Roast Beef here. Another episode of Jigs and Friggin' Bigs. Man, we got one hell of a show for you this week. We're talking all kinds of good stuff. We're going to break down some stuff in just the tip. We're talking about the 15-minute rule. Have you ever struggled to get on fish and figure it out? Kind of need some assistance putting together a pattern? We're going to do everything we can to try to help you guys out. We're also talking about jerkbaits in the winter. It's something we hear about all the time. We got not just one, actually 2 phone calls this week about it in the live well. So we got that to go over. We have a whole bunch of other good stuff to talk about. We got information regarding the live show and Fishy Trivia happening the night before the 300th party. That's on January 23rd. Updates on that too, guys. We have all kinds of good stuff to talk about this week. Jigs and Frickin' Bigs with me, Bobby Roast Beef. We'll see you guys in just a bit with more good show coming up right after this. Come on. Firmly accurate right there. I forgot to set one thing up there, Joe. So if that intro sounded a bit off, if it doesn't sound up to the gold tier standard that a Jigs and Bigs intro normally is, that may be why right there. But
I actually didn't hear it at all.
You didn't hear it at all? I will. I'll take that as a freaking win, man. I will take that because I was riding by the seat of my pants right there. Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. We have ourselves one hell of a program for you this week. Coming off the heels of an episode that has been getting a lot of love from a lot of listeners that, you know, had a lot of the OG listeners of the show, really. And I'm talking the Hookset Hoodlum fam, you know. Last week's show with Bill was so much fun, Joe. It was a blast. It was so good.
It was. Yeah, it absolutely was.
I'm still amazed I got you with surprising him. I was like convinced
myself. No clue.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I was like, he's got to see the control room. He's got to see who's in the queue. I'm like, that is
No, I don't see any of that.
Oh, nope. Wow. All right. Okay, well, that's good to know. Maybe we'll have some future surprises. You know, so some guests of Joe's past. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's not such a great idea. Man, how are
my
you?
ex-wife on here?
Come on down. It turns into a big fucking mess of a show. Oh, you know what? That's what we need. We need a live studio. I need to recreate this moment at the 300th party. Just so I can have that Jerry Springer moment. I just want to see if I can get the crowd chanting, Bobby, Bobby, Bobby. As like a couple of guests are just like wrestling. I think it could be great. I do have bad news regarding the 300th episode, though. I got confirmation that we will not be able to have Flywalker come down. He is booked actually that evening. He's got stuff that was tentative on the calendar, so not able to work out. So I was looking forward to it too. Right. But I got some shit done this week with the 300th, man. I really did. A couple of things that I had done was reaching out and touching base with some of the prize sponsors to kind of coordinate some stuff. One of which I mentioned in the pre-show meeting that I totally dropped the ball on. One of our prize sponsors is doing a door prize, Armory Jerky. And your boy had just was running on all cylinders this week and completely overlooked picking up that prize from Armory Jerky. So I'm going to be reaching out to make sure that they're still in town because that's the issue. They're actually, we initially considered having Armory Jerky in the room as one of the vendors, just so folks could sample some of the wares and everything like that because it's quality product. Right. And they have a trip lined up that may or may not have, and it turns out it's gonna cross over. So it's all good. Oh, we got John Hagen's in the house. We got Jane Manning in the house. So yeah, there's that. I also put a couple of irons in the fire as far as getting some stuff together regarding Fishy Trivia and details for Fishy Trivia. So the game's all set. Everything is ready to go. And in the ticket window, when you go to brown paper tickets from jigsandbigs.com, when you go to jigsandbigs.com and you're over at the site for brown paper tickets to get your tickets for the show, now, like, all of those instructions are all right there for Fishy Trivia. So you can jump right in and be a part of it and all that stuff and win some prizes. And the way we're doing it is the winners of trivia, we're doing the top 3. The first place winner is going to get 5 additional entries into the giveaway wheel. Second place is going to get 3. And then I think third place is going to get an extra. So it'll just be one more opportunity to win some awesome prizes from the giveaway wheel. Yep. It'll be pretty badass. And those are all the giveaways that we're sending out right there. So all of those, like, wherever you're playing, it's worth playing, at least for that prize alone. So that puts first place would be valued at like a $125 prize. And then second place would be like a $75 prize, and then a $25 prize for that third place prize is the value of those. Yep. Pretty freaking cool. So that's all set. Some folks are reaching out. I heard from some folks that we haven't heard from in a hot minute after last week's episode regarding the 300th party. So we should have ourselves one hell of a little gathering. It should be pretty fun. And I did hear from the venue too, Joe. And I put in a reminder that we would very much appreciate it if that keg of Wormtown Blizzard of 78 could make its way into the banquet room where we're doing our event. So if that, I've been told that should be no problem. So that is pretty awesome.
Perfect.
And man, it's going to be good. We're winding into it right now. Dude, we're like, when this episode drops, it's basically a week from Saturday. That's insane. Like, it's just coming up that fast. So hell yeah, we got some good shit lined up. How was your week this week, Joe? Did you do anything interesting?
My week was good. It was not much fishy stuff, unfortunately. You know how it is. It's those winter months.
Yeah,
but had a good week, dude. Did a couple whatnot shows. Did I think 3 actually?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, those all went well. It's just the packing everything after. That's that can be a nightmare sometimes. But no, dude, I had a ton of stuff come in from all over the friggin' globe, and I'm having a blast with it, dude. I'm just having fun with it, and I'm gonna keep it going. So outside of that, dude, it was a chill week, man. It was a chill week for me. Didn't really do too much. Shit around the house, stuff like that. Just getting ready, dude. Just getting ready for the hard water. I haven't even been out on the ice. It's another one of those years where I'm like, yep, I'm going to hit it hard. And I still have yet to go out there just because, I've had other stuff going on. And
this is a weird time. Like that early January,
it's been pouring out. I'm not going out in the ice in the rain, dude.
Well, and like that, you make a really good point. Like the weather has been crazy. Like there's no snow on my. I have one big ice cube sitting in my cover, right? Yeah, and some water that I'm trying to like move off of it as much as I can. Yeah. On my boat cover because it is ridiculous. Dude. I've realized next year I'm just getting a new boat cover. This thing is so stretched out. It is so bad. It is so bad. Yeah. It goes on with no struggle. Do you know what I mean?
It's like that old t-shirt where like the collar
it's like it's lived its life. I'm like, we're just going to have to replace his boat cover.
Yeah, it was a short life, but it was a tough life. It was a hard life.
I got to figure something out, man. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see what we can do, but dude, I will tell you, I got the notification. So you were on Whatnot on Thursday night. And
yes,
I had gotten the notification. I was like, man, I'm not started trivia yet. Let's pop on and see what's going on. And and I popped on, and you already had and I think you had just gone live. You had 35 people already in there.
Yeah,
that's pretty nuts, dude. So shit's freaking happening for you, huh?
Yeah, man. It's going good. It's I'm just saying, I'm up to, I forget how many followers. It's, I'm up over 1,000. I'm
shit.
I'm up over 1,000 followers. Fuck. I'm getting close to having, I appreciate it. I'm getting close to having 1,000 sales. And the cool thing is once you hit 1,000 sales, your payouts are immediate. So right now you essentially have to wait until after the person receives the package.
Gotcha.
And then, you get paid out. But yeah, so once I hit that, it's immediate payouts. So
that's cool.
That'll be nice. And then once you hit 50,000 in sales, you become like a premier seller.
Oh wow.
So and there's some perks to that. I got a little ways to go for that, but yeah, there's some perks to that. So I'm just grinding, man.
Dude,
just
that
grinding.
is freaking nuts. It's so cool. Like, I'm telling you, I think Wild Bill and I were actually having a conversation about this the other day.
Yep.
And we're like, this fits Joe so well. Like, it really does. Like everything, it fits you so well for what you're, because you're a gearhead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You really are.
Yeah.
And like, especially like the fact that you lean so heavy toward not just JDM, but Megabass specifically.
Yeah.
Like there's a wicked market. Somebody was just saying in one of the, was it in the, I'm trying to remember if it was maybe in the Pig Jigs Nation chat. Somebody had mentioned something about like there being a new Megabass drop and it was gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the drop?
I got a little bit of it.
Oh, you
Maccabi
did?
Coach was it? Yeah, the Respect series.
That's
Maccabi
awesome.
Coach. Yeah, it was especially, dude, it's weird. It's like it's the Vision 110s and the Pop Maxes that are like huge. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
The Pop Maxes are probably the most sought after right now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I don't even think the people, fish it. But which is funny because I've caught my PB on a Pop Max.
Yeah, exactly.
I love fishing the
100%.
Pop Maxes. Yeah, I do give away. I do some pretty good giveaways. That's the one thing I'm trying to do. And Shan knows. And but yeah, dude, it's like Shan's actually helped me like kind of like, like, hey man, don't forget this drop's coming,
Yeah.
And him and I have been kind of working as a team, like hopping on sites and kind of seeing where stuff's gonna be. But
that's so cool.
It's good, dude. It's like they basically do a different what's called the Respect series. They do a different drop every month.
Yep.
And, dude, they're just so popular. Like the Respect series is so. You'll see, dude, it's crazy. You'll see, like, let's just say like a Pop Max, for instance, which goes for $21.99. Someone will get their hands on that Respect series. You'll see it 3 days later on eBay for $50.
Oh, easy.
You know what I mean? And yeah, it's crazy. And like you go on eBay, it's just, I mean, I have some Pop Maxes and stuff in my little collection that I haven't put up yet. But dude, they're going online for like $250 for a bait.
It's insane.
It's absolutely insane. Just because it's. But there's one that I sell that I've got my hands on. That's a drop from. It's a color drop from just a certain tackle shop. And so they only made like 450 of them.
Okay.
And dude, they go like crazy.
Yeah.
They go like absolute crazy. And it's one of my favorite colors. I think I showed it to you. Is that frozen bloody Hasu one?
Yep. That's cool.
And so I have my last, bit of those. And I actually put a few of them, a good handful of them aside that I'm just gonna marinate on them. You know what I mean? And just wait.
That's freaking badass, dude.
Yeah. See, Shan knows. We bought about half of them together. Yeah, we both, and it's crazy, dude. Yeah, they made 450 of them. They go like crazy. It's insane. It's insane how. Yeah, but it's fun, dude. I have a blast with it. It's funny, like you said. Dan came over. My buddy Dan came over the other night. Because I told him I had a couple baits for him.
Yep.
So he pops over with a couple beers and he walks in my garage right after everything's set up. He's like, dude, why did you even close OGO? He's like, you have as much friggin', shit here as you did when you had the shop. But I was like, but yeah, I got a pretty crazy inventory in there right now.
It's wild.
Yeah. It's good, man. Most of it's Megabass. I have to because I'm so like I gotta branch out a little bit. I just made a purchase on some other companies, some other brands and stuff but it's just, when the Megabass is selling so well, it's tough to get away from it. But
exactly.
But I do want to branch out a little bit and show that I'm a little more. I have a little bit more than just a Megabass. Like Shan, he's the Sixth Sense guy, man. He gets his hands on all kinds of sixth sense stuff. But
And, you know, there's brands that are going to have their loyalists. You know what I mean? There's people that are going to be like, oh, and that's why I like to lean heavily into like a couple of brands that you have regularly is not necessarily a bad thing. But
it's nuts, dude. Because like, and everyone has their followers. You know what I mean? Like my followers are different from Shan's followers, different from, you know, other people's followers.
Yep.
And there's a cool thing on Whatnot. I actually just learned about it like a week ago. There's something called a raid. So once you end your show, you can instead of like ending it, you do what they call a raid. So and you pick a seller that's currently live, and you do what they call a raid. And instead of shutting the show, it takes you and every single person that's in your show right now and dumps you over to that other person.
I've heard of that before. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing.
Huh? I feel like that may have actually happened one time. To Jigs and Bigs. This was long before you joined the show. It was when Sean and I first started like streaming to the jig heads. And I think like we used to just pick one at random. We would just do it public and leave it. Yeah. And we got all of these people in the chat. Like I'm talking hundreds of people. We're looking at the counter. We're like, what? And like the comments started flooded with shit. And we were both totally blindsided. We're like, what?
Yep.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy.
It was funny. So I had my first like trolls on my show because like I told you,
it happens.
Like you saw, I changed my camera perspective where I was just having my hands in it. I was like, you know, I was like, especially when I'm having a couple of drinks, I'm like, I'm a pretty personable guy. And I like to think I could be funny at times. So I wanted to make it more personal. You know what I mean? Show me in there. So I did that. I set up my camera. I do it through OSB. I had to get like a capture card and everything for my mirrorless camera. But, you know, and I'm looking at the comments and there's somebody asking for a certain bait. I'm not even going to say it on the show. It's a certain type of walking bait.
Okay.
That starts topwater bait that starts with an S. And they kept asking me if I have these. I'm like, no, I don't have them. And then I was just like, oh my God, like this dude is fucking trolling me. Like, and I fell right into it. I was like, God damn it.
Isn't that the worst when you're just like, you motherfucker?
Yep. And then I like one dude's like, nice. I was wearing like a Carhartt flannel, and one dude's like kept saying like he's like nice sweater, like nice. I was like, oh my God. I was like, get out of here, you losers. Get out of your mom's basement.
That's exactly it, man. Yeah. You know, super easy to run your mouth when you're, you know, sitting at home on your keyboard.
Oh,
you know 100%,
what I mean? 100%.
And people just they think they're fucking hilarious, but
I know.
It is what it is. Dude, but that's awesome. I'm glad it's going so well for you. It's like, and you've been consistent. Like every week, you've had at least one show, you know, which is pretty badass. So that's awesome. How are you doing as far as like? I mean, I would assume like you obviously wouldn't be doing it if it was like killing you to do it. Like,
I you're doing all right. Like profit is good.
Yeah,
the profit's good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly good.
Because that's the thing. I think a lot of people don't they assume like when you factor in shipping and you factor in like the time and everything like that. Yeah, that's when you look at the big picture. That's awesome.
The cool thing about it is Whatnot does all the shipping and stuff and the charge for them. All you gotta do is do the label, dude.
Do the label, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's what's really nice about that. So you don't have to deal with it because you like. I remember when I had the tackle shop and I was doing like the subscription boxes and stuff. Like, that was a pain in the ass to have to.
That was wild. Do that. Doing that in house, that is bananas.
It was actually funny. I had talked to Zach recently, and I got my hands on a couple. I think 5 of the December boxes, and I gave those as giveaways for the follower giveaways.
Oh yeah,
and a couple people would reach out to me and sent me messages on Whatnot, like, hey, like, thanks for that. Like, I actually have subscribed since then. These boxes are awesome. So that was a cool thing to contribute to as well. So
that's pretty badass. You mentioned Zach, and it reminded me, I had a conversation with Zach this week as well. And he was telling me about a couple of things that they added over at Dark Horse that they're working with. First off, they're selling for Kayak or Die. So that's one of the new brands that you can see over there, kind of like they do with like with what is it, Broken Twigs?
Yep.
And also, but they're also doing partnered with Naqua. over there for
awesome.
So for battery needs, Naqua as well. And like that, especially like for kayak fishing, especially like the Naqua batteries are badass. But I was chatting with Zach, and dude, I got to tell you, I'm getting excited about Columbus in a major way. In a major way. I'm getting stoked, dude.
Meg keeps rubbing it in my face.
It's going to be a whole thing. It just in general, it is.
Yep. Next year, I'll be back there next year. Yeah. I'll do 1 week there, 1 week, up here, or 1 year up here, 1 year down there.
And I was talking with Nate over at Pig Jigs, and Pig Jigs will be over at the Columbus show, which is kind of cool. So I kind of want to do a warm handoff to introduce Nate and Zach to one another, because I think that would be an amazing pairing. See some Pig Jigs love in the Dark Horse subscription or on the bait shop could be friggin' amazing.
Yep.
My week, like I said, I got a lot of stuff done for the show. I put a lot of shit together, but I have to share a story with you guys. Bobby Roast Beef might not necessarily be in his exact right mind right now. And let me explain why. And also let me explain why we're recording on a Sunday after for weeks I've been talking about how excited I am to record on Friday nights. So here's the deal, folks. This past week, we had a very quiet Christmas this year, and my folks invited myself and my family over for dinner on Friday night. They're like, oh yeah, we never got together for Christmas. Let's go ahead and we'll do this. Okay, great. Cool. So we go over that day, and I was like, I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, we could record a little bit later. So I ran it past Joe. I was like, what do you think? And this just worked for us. So that's how, this is one of those things where, like, if something pops up on Friday, like I still run private, parties and stuff like that. That shit will still pop up on occasion. It is nice to have the Saturday or Sunday to fall on and be able to drop the recording where we need to. Like, we could go as close as Monday morning if we needed to, that is kind of nice. But, last night I realized I was like, shit, I probably should have dropped something on Patreon, because I think it was Friday night. I got a text from Eli, and he's like, oh, no show tonight? And I was like, no, man, I had some stuff going on. We're going to be recording on Sunday. So that's what's going on here. Now, the reason why I might not sound so on the ball was I came home and had nothing on deck that entire weekend. Yeah, actually, in fact, my only plans that I had on deck was actually to go hit up a barbecue spot with my buddy Paul up in New Hampshire. Have you ever heard of this 603 barbecue, Joe?
I don't think so.
They have the most ridiculous Instagram, where they will feature a variety of different flavor, like smoked sausages that week. And it is just, the place looks, everybody raves about it. I'm like, it's like what BT's was back in the day when they first started.
Gotcha.
That kind of raving about it. So I'm like, Paul, let's go. We'll go ahead and send it. Well, Paul's, dealing with some health shit right now. We've talked about that before. He really wasn't necessarily feeling up to it. I said, not a problem, man. We'll do this another time. So I had all day Saturday off. So my it's Friday night. My wife and I are going to pop on an old murder show. I'm giving in, and I'm just accepting the fucking carnage. Watching the murder shows with the wife. I'm just accepting it, whatever. Bring on the death.
Which one in particular were you watching, Bobby?
I don't even pay attention anymore. I was like, who's dying? Click. And I just put it on, and she's happy. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm all right with that.
She wants you to know what your demise is going to be.
What it could be. Well, we're going to talk about how romantic. We have something on deck for the future for some romantic plans for Queen Beef and Bobby Roast Beef. So I go and I'm like, I was like, you know what? I'm going to have myself a nice hefty dose of edibles. Now, we have this one pack where there's one specific brand. It's a locally owned company, and we've been utilizing their products for a long time, for years. And Holly, earlier just this last week, there was a day she's like, I had one of those gummies and it just wrecked me so bad. And she's like, I just can't figure it, to the point where next day I can't go to work like that. So I'm like, you're freaking whatever. What are you even talking about? So last night I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give one of these a try, and just to see. So I got nothing on deck yesterday. So I have not one, but two of those gummies. I doubled the dose, and I went down a rabbit hole like you would not believe. So this was significant. I don't know. We threw those out, and we have other packages of the same exact variety. I'm going to try one from each package to see if it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So
it was that kind of like when you were seeing noises type deal.
Dude, it was like hitting the reset button on my psyche and my emotions at the same time. Like,
yeah.
I was analyzing, like my wife got the phone call at like 10 p.m. because this was early. Like, and they hit fast. And she's like, she got a phone call and I was like, hey, so let's analyze our relationship and blah, 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 like all this other shit. I'm sure her eyes were rolling out of her fucking skull. So I woke up that next morning, and I was like, I'm still fucking significantly impaired. Like,
that's wild.
I would not have driven a car like that. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Like you would have got a Dewey if you got pulled over type deal
100%.
because you're just so out of your mind. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. That night, like I was walking out, going from my room, like to the bathroom or downstairs to go get water. And I was holding onto the walls. I'm not kidding, dude. Like you ever see video footage of like a bear after eating a bunch of like fermented blackberries and they're just like, what's going on? Let's take a dip in the strawberry river. Or like eating mushrooms or some shit like that. Yeah. That's how I felt.
At least you didn't like call 911 or something crazy.
No, I'm not a bitch.
Dude, I know somebody who did that.
I know a few people, yeah.
The first time they ever, obviously I don't do this because I can't because of my work. But they're telling me like they did their first, and it was back when it first got legalized in Mass. They're just like, oh, what's this all about? Dude, they did it. And they were so fucked up, dude. They called 911.
Yeah, you can't do that. Like that is no.
But I was talking to a couple like EMT paramedic friends of mine like in that time, and dude, there was like so many people like when that shit got legalized in Mass, like did that. Yeah, the calls they were getting were insane because people never done it before, and they're like, "Oh, cool, this is legal now."
Yeah, exactly. Oh, let me see what the big deal is, and then they fuck up. And the thing is with edible, the problem is it's a long, slow burn. You know what I mean? Like, you remember? I don't know if we talked about this anywhere in general. In fact, I might tell the whole story at the 300th episode just to give you guys something juicy on that episode. But there was a night where it was after a tournament, and I decided to celebrate with going old school with some bong rips, and I did a nice little high test one, and it put me in this mental state. But the thing is with edibles, like it just gets its claws in you, and you're holding on. It lasts so much longer. So I say that because I have been technically stoned for 36 hours now. I'm doing infinitely better than I was like 24 hours ago. You know what I mean? Yep. I'm doing infinitely better. I would do definitely infinitely better than I was like about 30 hours ago, for sure. But yeah, man, I feel absolutely useless. So yeah, things are on the up and up. But dude, it has been a mess.
Oh, so it's crazy. Go back to like the murder shows real quick. Yep. So I know a ton of wives are into that. Dude, I think mine might be into something that's even worse.
Oh, no.
And I think you and we might have talked about it on the show, but I know you and I have talked about it. Dude, my wife's into like conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The two, they go 100%.
Oh, my God, dude. So it's like she gets into like the Reddit and like these wormholes of like, she's like,
did you know?
Or she'll be like, I think I'm gonna buy like some rolls of like thick plastic sheeting. I'm like, why? Well, because that keeps out nuclear fallout. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, what are you watching? She's like, she's like, it gets in that prepper phase, and like she's like, oh my God, did you Illuminati New World Order type stuff? She's like, do you think this stuff's real? I'm like, oh my gosh.
So
and
I've never discovered anything like this, but I think I might have stumbled on what could be a conspiracy theory that I'm like, no shit, but it's set to happen close enough where it'll be one of those moments like, that was bullshit, or not, as long as I can remember it for a handful of months. Yeah. So apparently in August of this year, there was some type of an event that occurred in space where there was an interruption of like gravity, and it's a wave that's coming across. And apparently in August of this year, we should experience 7 seconds of lapse in gravity.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
See, see.
So like,
I'm more scared of that than like the thought of Meg coming and slitting my throat up from behind.
That's fair enough. You know,
at least I got a fighting chance there.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's pretty close. But yeah, I saw that. I was just like, God damn it. Because now I'm thinking, I'm like, is it smarter to be on the boat or to not be on the boat?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like 7 seconds of no gravity, it's like you're not going to go flying upward. There's no force pushing you there, you know? But what's holding you down won't be there. So I don't know.
It's so weird.
It is fucking weird. And you're not stoned at all. And it sucks to think about, right? Because you just imagine you're like on vacation, you're driving, you're like, would you kids shut the fuck down? And all of a sudden your car just starts lifting up, and then 5 seconds later just smashes down on the ground. It's fucking scary shit, right? Worst conspiracy theory I ever heard.
Dude, 7 seconds is a long time.
7 seconds is a long time. You don't think about it like that, but 7 seconds is, you know.
I got tased for 5 seconds and it felt like an hour.
An eternity. I believe it, dude.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's fucking insane. It's crazy.
God, that's going to fuck with my head all day now.
I don't know. I've only ever seen like one thing, you know, and it was when I was scrolling and I was like, did I fucking actually? And I scrolled back to see it and I was like, yeah. I was like, 7 seconds of weightlessness and excitement of not feeling fat, followed by a return to reality. That's what I'm saying, John. That's what I'm saying. I'll be like, oh, my back doesn't hurt at all. And then it'll be like,
oh, no, dude, I'm just going to, I'll just like, yeah, I guess like strap yourself in like at your house or some shit.
Yeah. I'm like, holy fucking shit, dude. I just don't know. So yeah, that's sorry about dropping that bomb on you.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I don't think I've mentioned that to like anybody, but I was like, huh. Is that going to be the thing? Is that going to be what it is? It's fucking weird. But I also like probably the last or the most or least exciting thing is that I got to tell you. So Bobby Roast Beef, you probably our Jigs and Bigs listeners, if you're in your car right now and you're listening to the show, or maybe you're out fishing and you got the show on, you're listening to it there or something. You probably don't. When you think of like the absolute king of romance, you don't think Bobby Roast Beef. You don't think that Bobby Roast Beef has his finger on the pulse of everything that is romance for Valentine's Day. This man has over 2 months, or I'm sorry, over 1 month to plan. No. I've already got my Valentine's Day plans all set up, Joe. All set up. You know what I'm taking Queen Beef out to do?
Don't say axe throwing when she's watching those shows.
Definitely no axe throwing. We have an appointment Valentine's Day morning
for a firearms safety course for our LTC.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yep.
That's a great Valentine's gift, Bobby.
That's what I said. I was like, I think this is awesome. And I told her, I said, I think that who else is going to be thinking like this? I say this, I shouldn't say this on the show, but like, I go, there will probably be the most open spaces there. I was like, so we'll probably get a little extra time. You know what I mean? Something like that. I was like, this could be really good. It might be as close to a private, session as one could get. So yeah, we got a plan. We got to pack our lunch that day and get all of our stuff all in order, and it should be pretty badass. So yeah, we're talking.
Where are you guys doing it?
We're going to SSD in Ludlow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I looked at a number of different places, but I'll be honest with you, their website for booking and all that was just way easier. Bonnie and Bob Clyde.
Look at the one above it.
Great plan, Bobby. Wife watches murder shows, then you help her learn how to use the gun better. Nah, I know, right? Believe me, Shan, I considered that too. I was like, am I signing my death certificate? Perhaps I'm making one of the best decisions ever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Perhaps she's slowly killing me. She doesn't understand it. But if she pulls the trigger,
she still gets a check.
That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Well, what you need to worry about is when you like take her to like the gun shop to look at them for the first time, and she's asking questions like, "Hey, does this come with a suppressor?" Or like,
exactly.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you got to worry.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I think it'll be interesting, but yeah. So that's what we're like. I was like, so what do you want to buy? What are you thinking you want to get? She's like, I don't know. She says she doesn't care right now. I was like, okay. She thinks it's a good idea, but I was like, all right. We'll see. But yeah, so that's our plan for Valentine's Day. So if anybody else was considering, you know, I don't know what to do for Valentine's Day, it's always an option. You know, it's always an option. But yeah, good stuff, man. What do you say we dive into this headline here and get Let's things moving? All right, here we go.
All right, Bobby. So we're going to talk a little subject that I've actually had quite a few conversations. I think we've had a little bit of a conversation about, and that question is, should there be a closed bass season? And that's because in the bass fishing world, there is an age-old debate about whether both largemouth and smallmouth bass should have a closed season. Some anglers and conservationists argue that it would protect bass populations to shut down fishing during the spawn, while others believe that modern catch and release ethics, better management practices, and scientific understanding make that unnecessary. As someone who spent years chasing bass across the Northeast where both species are present, I firmly believe that there shouldn't be a closed bass season anywhere in the United States. I know it's a very bold statement, but let me tell you why. These are not my words. These are the person writing this article. Not long ago, keeping a stringer full of bass was the normal. Even in the early days of Bassmaster tournaments, it was full stringers of bass caught and kept to weigh in. But today, the vast majority of bass fishermen practice catch and release. Whether you're tournament fishing or just out for a weekend on the lake, releasing your catch is now standard practice. Because of the cultural shift, the old arguments for closed seasons, mainly to prevent overharvest during the spawn, don't hold as much weight anymore. Modern anglers handle fish carefully, use better gear for safe releases, and understand the importance of protecting the resources. In many states, bass populations are thriving precisely because of the shift in mindset, not because of strict closures. Times have changed. It's an extremely different mindset than it was years ago. Bass are incredible survivors that can almost anywhere there's suitable water spawn multiple times in their life and find ways to maintain healthy populations in pressured lakes. Studies show that even places where bass are heavily targeted during the spawn, like Florida or Texas, populations remain stable and strong year after year. That's because male bass ferociously guard their nests. If one is caught and quickly released, he'll often return to protect his fry. And while predators might get some fry in the process, nature accounts for that. Bass lay thousands of eggs because only a small fraction ever reach adulthood. Fishing during the spawn doesn't threaten the overall balance as much as some people think. It just shifts the odds a little. And it gets into a little bit like the education stuff about it. I want to know your thoughts, Bobby. What are your thoughts on closed bass seasons?
I don't think there should be any closed bass seasons.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, bass are only native to North America in about like half of the states.
Yep.
But they're everywhere. Yep. You know what I mean? There's no shortage at all. There are some states where they're like, oh, yeah, you can't target bass here. So, and I'm like, okay. You know, I mean, like in some of those states, like like Connecticut's that way. They have a bass season. And I shake my head all the time. And I believe that it varies state by state where you got to look at, are they talking about harvesting? Because that I think is a key point. Like if you want to put a season on it and it's about harvesting, great, But I mean, I do. I think that article makes a lot of really, really good points to where the idea of having a bass season has kind of lived its effective life.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. I guess like the only thing like, so St. Lawrence River, they have a bass season. That's why we typically go up there right on opening week for Fish or Die. Mm-hmm. And I guess in the tournament aspect, the only argument I would have, and even BASS has changed kind of the way they do it a little bit, is taking the males or the females off the beds and then bring them into a weigh-in. And, bringing them, tens of miles away to where, I think it was last year, Lake Fork, they kind of did it. Will you stop it? Lake Fork, they kind of went to that MLF philosophy, and we're just weighing the fish and returning them.
Yep.
I think that's important. I think it's important to keep, whether you catch them, catch and release is catch and release. But, if you have a fish on a bed, which, obviously when we go up, will you stop? I'm sorry. Go enough. My gosh.
He's got strong opinions about bass season.
He does. I think it's important to get those fish back on the beds.
I agree with that. Although, I'm probably,
but like you said, it's 99% of it is catch and release now anyway. So that doesn't matter. I guess the only stipulation would be the tournaments. I could understand not having tournaments in that time frame, or if they do, it's strictly kind of like the MLF philosophy where it's you weigh and you release. But yeah, I don't think there's a necessity for a bass.
You make a really, really good point about that, because when I'm thinking tournaments, I'm immediately thinking catch, photo, release. I'm not even thinking about like live wells necessarily. Right. So that is a really good point, where I think that probably would be something like, you want to do you want to do a tournament at these times. Well, this is the way we have to do it, because, you don't want to pull a bass off of a bed, move it, to a different population of the lake. And are they going to is that fish ever going to even spawn again in its lifetime?
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that aspect is still very important. If there's going to be a tournament, then, because obviously the local tournaments don't have the equipment or the means to, just weigh and release and have someone in there to ensure that they still have the logistics behind it.
Yep.
So maybe like the local open tournaments and stuff, maybe, you kind of put a pause on those. But MLF, they just weigh and release, and, BASS when during the spawn has started to do that as well. So they're not taking those fish off the beds. And you know what, dude, is I think it was last year, NPFL had a tournament right around spawn up on the St. Lawrence River. And and they were saying, they're like, oh, these fish are still on beds. These fish are still on beds. And then they're, taking them off and going and doing the weigh-in. So I didn't like that. Yeah. So that I didn't like, and I was kind of surprised that they did that. But
yeah, it is definitely where it's a more targeted, specific group that could have more impact. Yeah. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. That's a good one, dude. And actually, it kind of like, so I had this, we talk about like native species, on the show. And we talk about what fish are native to what area and all of this stuff, And it reminds me of, it's like we're talking about where, bass are native. And we had a comment that popped in here. John Carter goes, before the 1830s, there were zero bass beyond the Mississippi. And it got me thinking about this conversation I had and a video that I had watched. One of our listeners had sent me the question of if I had an opinion on the kill order of muskie in Maine. There's supposedly a tournament that's going on where it's a catch and kill, and it's a muskie tournament. And this has like the muskie angling world like up in arms. Apparently, this one thing that somebody had shared with me was it was a muskie fishing podcast actually, and they were talking about this. And it brought up, and I was having this conversation. I was like, the thing is, I go, muskie aren't native to Maine. Like, they're not. I understand people being pissed like about it, but like they're there and it is whatever. I was like, I don't really think that the catch and kill tournaments are a thing, but I go, they're doing the same thing with bass. And that's what this person said. They're like, what about the same thing? Like, would it be different if it were bass? I was like, for me personally, no. But for some people it is like they put different species on like a different level of importance for one reason or another. But I bring this up because I watched a video. This is like the next day on YouTube, and it was an older guy out of Maine, and he was talking about the introduction of certain species illegally in waters up in Maine. And it was, he said, he goes, it was catching all these pike and muskie, and they were never there before. And it ruined the brown trout fishing. And that's what he said multiple times. He's like, we used to be able to go up there and kill them. Brown trout like crazy. You just get, 4 or 5 pounders all day. They were just quality brown trout. Awesome. Brown trout aren't native to North America at all. At all. And I'm like, man, I go, does that really change your argument? You know what I'm saying? Like, it really, really does. This is a guy who wanted like these catch and kill tournaments and all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm just kind of, riffing here on that. But it got me thinking, like, we should do like some kind of a conversation about like the value of different species. Because some people, they don't see any value to any other species than what they're specifically targeting at all. And
yeah,
it's a bigger conversation.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. All right, let's go ahead. We'll take a quick break, guys. Segment number 2 is coming up. We got just the tip. We're talking about the 15-minute rule. What the hell am I even talking about? It's all about time management, and you will 100% learn something about it in this next segment. We also have an FTG this week, and this actually goes full circle because we end up talking a little bit about whatnot in there, too. Don't go too far. We got more jigs and bigs coming up right after this.
And perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip. Just for a second, just to see how it feels. Or, ouch, ouch, you're on my hair.
Okay.
All right, guys, time for this week's Just the Tip segment. And this week, this one's all about knowing when to stay and when to move. We call it the 15-minute rule. Most anglers, they mess this one up in one of two ways, generally. They either leave way too fast or they stay way too long just because
it has to happen eventually.
15 minutes isn't necessarily a magic number, but it's a decision checkpoint. It's long enough time to make any good cast, try some different angles, and actually fish a spot, but it's short enough to stop you from wasting half of your day on hope. In those 15 minutes, you're not just asking, did I get bit? You're asking, am I seeing bait? Am I getting follows or bumps? Is my bait in the strike zone for long enough a period of time? Do the conditions even match the spot? If something feels almost right, then stay. If something feels, or I should say, if nothing feels right, then change one thing, but not everything. Most people fail the 15-minute rule because they change 5 things at one time. Could be a new spot, could be a new bait, could be the new depth, could be a new speed, a new confidence. That's not adjustment. That's just straight up chaos. Some of the worst fishing decisions that I've made came from staying in what would end up being dead water way too long, simply because I just wanted it to work. I had it built into my mind. At some of my best days were when I started and admitted to myself that, yeah, this isn't it, and then I moved on. So here's the actual rule. Give a spot a 15-minute focused window. If there's life, adjust to it and commit to it. If there's nothing, though, move or change one variable. No panic, no ego, Tournament anglers live by this because they have to. Fun fishermen should too, though, because water or time on the water, rather, is still valuable time. Fish the clock, not necessarily what you're hoping for. And that's the 15-minute rule. What do you think about that, Joe? Because you've got more tournament experience than I do. Is that like?
That's a pretty good rule. There's no sense in, especially in the tournament world, there's no sense in wasting your time in a spot that the fish either aren't there or they're not biting.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So it's. I obviously have the electronics where I can kind of determine it a little quicker. So I'll throw out if I know there's fish there in that spot.
Yep.
And I'll try a few different baits. If they're not, if they're not getting onto anything, then I'll make my plan to move and maybe hit that spot later on in the day. Or I could just determine that there's no fish there pretty quick. But that's also why, for people like, tournament fishermen, that's why like pre-fishing is very important.
Pre-fishing is a big one for sure.
Pre-fishing is important because you can kind of see. But, not to say that, I was there 2 days ago, the fish weren't there. It's not to say they weren't going to be there that day, but that's a whole nother topic and conversation. But no, I think the 15-minute rule, I think that's a great rule, especially for, even for just, fun weekend fishermen or just fun fishermen. If you're not getting any bumps, bites, follows, you're not seeing any bait, anything like that. Try a couple different, within that 15 minutes, try a couple different techniques or baits, and then move on if you got nothing.
It's interesting too. I think that sometimes bait selection can play a big part of this. Like if you're like, let's say you've spotted fish on the bottom, you know what I mean? And they're, I don't know, man. That's, again, we're going into assuming that you've found that fish are there. But let's say like, you want to be able to obviously, this is a good thing to think about for like when you fish new water for the first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought of when I had gone to a couple of different spots this year for the first time ever. And one of the things that I tried to do was not commit to any one spot, even if I necessarily if it were a tournament or something that was different, I would fish it until like I wasn't catching, then I would move on. But when it was just breaking down a new place, I oftentimes would like look at a map in advance and think like, oh, these are going to pay off. And I would put so much emphasis on that. This one specific spot recently comes to mind that I was totally overlooking some other really amazing structure that perhaps like that time of year or for a variety of different reasons, maybe fish were stacking up over here instead. And it led to a couple of trips where I put some massive amounts of time into these areas that did not pay off at all, so you can definitely learn a little bit more there. So your 15 minutes might be, hey, I'm going to fish along this bank with this subtle moving bait and cover as much water as I can. Or that tree looks so juicy, I'm going to give it 15 minutes. You know what I mean? And I'm going to throw a jig at it and I'm going to see what comes up. But just talking yourself into like one more cast, like I'll throw one more over here. It's like in that 15 minutes, you probably should be able to make all of the casts you need to know, to be able to go and move on. So yeah, 15 minutes. It's just, keep your eye on the clock. And and nothing worse than convincing yourself that there's fish under that piece of cover that there's no fish under.
That they're just not there.
It's like we could probably. I know earlier somebody had mentioned like wacky tips. I fish a wacky around docks all the time. Sometimes there's fish under a dock, and sometimes there aren't. It's crazy. It's bananas.
100%. I mean, we had that crazy day together where there's fish under every single dock. Those are the best days.
Yeah, those are fantastic.
Quality fish under every single dock.
That helps. It helps in a major way. It helps in a major way. All right, so this one's a good one. And it has to do a little bit with whatnot. I'm curious, Joe, what you're going to think about this. Okay.
Hey guys, this is Mark B. I have an FTG, really a follow-up FTG from a few months ago. Joe had mentioned that the Whatnot app, and so I was like on there ordering stuff, and now you guys are mentioning that he's got his own shop, and so I'm on there ordering shit, and my wife's complaining, wondering why the fuck I'm on there all the time ordering shit. So just want to say, fuck you, Joe Brown.
We knew that this was coming, dude.
Yeah.
We knew that this was coming.
You know what the best is? Yeah, I've gotten orders from him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I was like, this name doesn't ring a bell to me, but I was like, I'll bet you Joe knows.
Yep,
Mark B.
yep,
Okay.
yep.
All right. Okay. Man, that is freaking bananas, dude. That is
convenience, man. It's convenience.
And community, because like you feel like you're part of the movement. Oh, man. I was so hoping I switched something while we were in the break, hoping that the audio was going to work. And I was like, fuck, I hope this works. All right, good. I'm glad it did.
I heard it.
Fuck, man, that is wild. Yeah, so fuck off, Joe.
Todd's another one, man. Todd's another one that's in every single one of my shows, dude, ordering shit.
I love it, man. That is friggin' awesome. We, I think we actually have another LiveWell segment, LiveWell question that came in via text that has to do with Megabass, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna call this one up, but let's go ahead. We'll take a real short break, guys. We're gonna come back. We got the LiveWell in the next segment right here. Man, we'll see you guys in a bit. Don't go too far. More Jigs and Bigs coming up right after this.
Hi there. Welcome to the LiveWell, where we crack open a ramp beer and attempt to answer all of your burning questions.
Oh, yeah, it's burning question time here. Bobby Roast Beef, Jigs and friggin' Bigs. We got Who the Fuck is Joe Brown in the house. And it's our LiveWell segment, guys. Now, this segment right here is a fun one. We have a good time with this segment, and it's because this is our chance to really kind of engage with you guys. What you need to know is that if you're interested in submitting a question, you can do so via phone or text. Like this first one that came through. You can call or text us, leave us a voicemail or a text message at 413-324-8519. That's the hotline number. Any time of day, you can call that or text it. Leave your question here. And this first one comes in via text, and it's by Nick. I think Nick is in Connecticut. And he says, hey, it's Nick. I've got a question for the LiveWell. I'm a big fan of Megabass mag drafts, but have had a lot of short strikes that rip off the tail. What's your guys' choice for a 6 to 8 inch paddle tail? Now, I love the 6-inch mag draft. I like the 8 too. I have some 8s. I throw the 6 a little bit more often. And I actually throw that usually on my bladed jig and spinnerbait combo. It's burly enough for it. Does the job. I've only hooked up, I think, twice on a mag draft. I've never had an issue with the tail coming off. And I think, Nick, that maybe you're not getting bit by bass because that tail is pretty substantial on the mag draft.
Yeah.
With the thing I will say about the mag draft, and I like it a lot, but it's what makes it kind of situational is like it's like a mid-column bait for me. Like I like to run that like over the tops of weeds by a significant amount because it's got that treble hook that hangs down.
Right.
I know that there is another one. There's one that is a line through, I think, that gives you some different options of where you can have that hook. So like I use the mag draft specifically for fishing like where there's no bottom contact at all, like mid column, like, and I'm trying to call fish out. That's usually like where I'm kind of throwing that, or like over the top or outside of like a weed edge or something like that, where it's right to call something out of that. And I have to wonder if you're maybe getting bit by stuff that's not bass, like maybe like a good sized pike or something that's getting a tooth in there and really kind of hammering it. I would say that for my go-to, like large size soft plastics, I do like the 6-inch Kitech Fat Impacts a lot. It's like that typical like swim bait style, like that paddle tail swim bait style, but it's just a 6-inch version of it. But I will tell you, like that tail is not any more robust than that. I also really like Storm makes the Largo shads, and the Largo shads are really great because they have some pull tabs on them where you can get more or less action. So if you leave them straight out of the package, they run as stiff, and as tight as they're going to be. But if you want a little bit more of a wider flapping tail, there is a piece of plastic that you can take off of those as well. And then like you can't go wrong with like big Joshies and stuff. But Joe, what do you think? What are some of your recommendations?
Yeah, so I know Megabass makes a bait. It's kind of like a mag draft, but the tail is hard. And I can't think of the flipping name of it right now.
Yeah, I think I've seen this.
Yeah, I think it's like a real, like I think it's mostly. If Shan's still in here, maybe he can help me out.
He might be.
I want to say it's like. I'll have the answer by the end of the show. But you have that as an option, but that's a might be that. I thought it was like the brake stop or something like that, something weird. I'll have to look, but dude, to have something cutting off that tail on an 8 or 6-inch mag draft, like that's kind of crazy to me. That's not like. I don't know, but I mean, other comparable baits. I mean, you have like, what is it? The Jackal Dunkel is in there.
Yep.
That's very similar. But then you have like the Kitech Easy Shiners. You had that get up to I think 8-inch. You have the Boom Booms. You have is it the Spinex? Okay. All right. Oh, iBreak is the one. iBreak is the one. Yep. iBreak. I believe the iBreaks are essentially a mag draft body with like a hard tail. So if that's an issue you're having, maybe give that a try. Yeah, but I mean, there's so many different options for like a 6 and 8-inch paddle tail. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of the hanging treble hook, so I prefer to throw like a something like even like a Gambler or there's a company, I think it's called Shad Life, that that do a really good one, a paddle tail. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I mean, there's so many of them out there. There's so many different paddle tails out there, but you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with a Kitech, like the Easy Shiner, that 8-inch, kind of put your own keel weighted hook in it or something. And that's the thing. That's a good option.
That'll allow you to do a lot. Like you can throw that belly weighted hook and drag it on the bottom. I mean, really, if you're throwing, depending on your depth and everything, you throw a good enough size jig head, like you'll be good to go. Any swim bait hook.
Oh, really. I lied. The iBreak is a hard body with a soft tail.
Yeah,
I had a little dyslexia right there.
And that's the thing, but that tail looks very similar to the tail that's on the mag draft already. That's automatically makes me think that maybe that's what he's experiencing is like non-bass smashing that thing, which I've never heard of a mag draft tail getting pulled off, at least not around here. I mean, if you're in like Ohio or like one of those places that have like big pike or muskie, then I could see that. But also if you're feeling a short strike, fucking let that bait stop. See if they re-hit it, if they
kind of
see
what's going on, what that thing might be.
I'm also curious. Like, there's so many people that play with the placement of the hook on a mag draft. Like the magnet itself is only so strong. Like I oftentimes will take one of the hook points and run it into the belly, into the body, so that it holds tight there. But like, there's something to be said about leaving it like also like hanging as well. Like if they crush it, now you've got all those points that are available to you. But man, that's kind of tough. I'd like some more info, Nick. If you could go ahead and text us.
Yeah,
in fact, I should text him back.
Send it, if you have a picture of that tail being ripped off, send it to like our Instagrams and the Jigs and Bigs or even the American Vet Fishing. I'm curious to kind of see that with a mag draft. I've never seen that before. I'm
texting them right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm just letting them know we'd love to see it. Because I have a strong feeling that's what's going on is he's getting bit by like when I think like biting off a piece of plastic that's that robust, like snapping turtles come to mind. Like who knows what kind of body of water he's in,
Like I could see that with like the Kitex and stuff, but that's like you said, that's such a robust plastic.
It really is. It's pretty solid,
especially at the 6-inch and 8-inch size.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. Let's jump into our next calls.
Hey, it's Eli with a question for the live well. Being the winter time and jerkbaits come out a lot more. When do you use a floating jerkbait versus sinking jerkbait versus spinning jerkbait versus like maybe using a fluke over like a hard body jerkbait? It's jerkbaiting and in general is something that I'm not super familiar with, using jerkbait and stuff like that. For the most part, just the Vision 110 blank is what I've used a lot. And then depending on what else comes in the Dark Horse tackle box, use those two. But honestly, I have no idea. I know the difference. I just don't know when to use them and where specifically to use them.
So I'm going to play this other call as well because I think that these both kind of riff on the same topic. So here's Adam.
Hey, Bobby and Joe. It's Adam up here in New Hampshire with a question for the live well. So it's winter time, and obviously wintertime we slow down, and one of the best baits to slow down with in the wintertime is a jerkbait. I just wanted to get a little bit of insight from you guys because jerkbaits is going to be my 2026 bait focal point to be better at. When it's cold like this, how do you know when to use a floating jerkbait versus a suspending jerkbait versus a sinking jerkbait or even like a soft jerkbait like a fluke or something like that? Obviously, I know how to throw them. I just don't throw them very often. And I really don't know when to use which type, and whether it's a Vision 110 or a Lucky Craft Pointer or a Smithwick Rogue, just anything like that. I've gotten obviously the ones from Zach and Josh over at Dark Horse. So if you guys could just shed a little bit of light on that, I would really appreciate it. Thank you, and have a good one. Talk to you soon.
Were they sitting? Did they plan this out together?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Because these calls were days apart from one another, but it's crazy. You know what time of year it is. So what do you think?
So I'll be 100% honest. In the winter, like me personally, I'm not using a floating jerkbait because it takes so much. It takes work to get that thing down, and the whole point of in the winter is to completely slow down your fishing. I'm going to be using either a suspending or a slow sinking jerkbait to kind of keep it in the water column that I want, that I'm trying to fish at that point. And especially, you're going to be, I'm pausing that thing for, 6 to 10 seconds, after each twitch. Cause you're like, again, you're super slowing it down. So the last thing I want is for that floating to, cause they float back to the top pretty quick. When it comes to slow sinking, it's usually because I'm trying to work, an area of the water column. So probably like 5-6 foot area. Yep. But typically it's going to be suspending for me. That I'm going to be fishing. Mm-hmm. So like me, typically like the 110s. I like fishing the 110s, or I like fishing the provokes from 6 cents. Floating, that's just me personally. I typically stay away from unless it's for some reason I'm fishing a really shallow area, which is usually not what's happening in the winter. Yep. I'm usually going deeper. That's my take on it. Suspending or super slow sinking is usually what I'm going to for the cold water months.
So when it comes to fishing jerkbaits, I love this question because I like to think of what each individual bait does. Mm-hmm. So to split it down the middle, I'm going to go hard bait versus soft bait. All right.
Okay.
So like soft bait, we're talking like flukes. Any type of a soft jerkbait where you fish it with that same type of cadence, twitch, sure, pause type thing, like a fluke. You can do the same thing with like a stick bait. I've done that too,
Yep.
Those I really like. I typically, I'm not throwing them in cold water months necessarily for anything specific because number one, they don't suspend like a suspending jerkbait. They don't. They sink. Mm-hmm. Now you can play with that and you can use like a jerk shads from Z-Man. That is a floating bait. And depending on the hook that you're using, maybe you put some modification to it to give it a little bit of weight. It will kind of suspend a little bit, something like that. You can toy around. Generally, I'm going to lean on that when it's high visibility water. That's usually when I'm going to rely on like a soft plastic jerkbait, primarily. High visibility water where I am seeing like that bait's going to get seen. It needs to be more natural. So that's when I'll make that call there. Floating jerkbait, I use in 2 different scenarios. I use it when I am fishing like a shallow area where the weeds come up, and I want to keep that jerk. I'm going to fish over the top of those weeds. So again, not really in cold water, not this time of year, not up in my area right here. I'm probably not going to throw that floating jerk a whole lot. But if I were to come up on an area like that where I wanted that to come down from the surface and come back up and then work it again and have it be more subtle than like a fluke or some type of a prop bait or something like that. I'm looking for something a little bit more subtle. What am I saying? A fluke, a spook, something like that.
Yeah.
Where I want something a little bit maybe more subtle. Now for floating slow sinking and suspending, 9 times out of 10, I want to use a suspending jerkbait most of the time. A slow sinking is really helpful when you want to keep it down. You can change out the hooks and put something lighter on, and that might make it a suspending jerkbait. Lots of times, slow sinkers get lumped into the family of suspenders as well, Mm-hmm. And it's all going to depend on that specific bait. So whatever bait that you have in the water, you've got to kind of like watch how it's behaving and kind of figure it out. Now, I will say the one time that I do like a floating jerkbait versus and it wouldn't necessarily be in colder water, but it's bank fishing. When you're pulling that bait up against water that's getting more and more shallow, having it go that way, like granted, you're not going to go and cast out to the deepest area and have it be effective there. But when it does start to come in, like that can be helpful, especially if you're struggling and getting hung up on debris. That's like if that jerkbait's going down too low, a floater can be nice. You can slow it down a little bit and it might not rock it all the way up. You can take a floater too and put some lead tape on it. And that can help slow it down, which makes it, a whole other kind of beast. But I don't know if that necessarily like answers your questions at all, guys. I think for the most part, when people are talking about, winter, jerkbaits. The reason is suspending. Because you can pause. It's all about the pause. That's why the suspending jerkbait is generally so popular. Is that you can twitch and let it sit, and some baits are designed to have a different movement than others, and that's why certain baits lean a specific way. Like I think like a husky jerk is what I would call like more of like a lazy kind of a response, versus like that Vision 110 is pretty freaking boop boop. It's like right on, it just stops on a dime, and it will just chill right in there. One thing, Joe, and maybe you've had more experience than me. You know how they say like the temperature of the water plays a role on how well a bait will suspend?
I've heard a little bit about it. I don't know much.
And that's the thing. I haven't really noticed enough or paid attention to the details enough. I was curious if you had experience like,
no,
these boats float much more aggressively when it's warm or something like that.
No.
Well, it's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I wish so I think at the end of the day, what we're saying is like, it depends on the situation. It depends on the angler and what it is that they're doing. I would say in the winter, hold on a second. Shan jumps in here. He says physics, density, fishing science lessons today, boys.
We need to get him on, dude. We need to get him on. That dude has so much knowledge. Shan, we're going to schedule that. I'm going to call you tomorrow and we're going to figure it out.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, no, this has to happen. But I think that's the thing. I think the main takeaway when it comes to these jerkbaits is like, if we're talking winter and we're talking cold water, generally suspending. If slow sinking can be a tool to use if you've got to get it in a specific, window. Usually what's kind of nice is to take like a measured amount of water somewhere there's X amount of feet, and then just put that bait on the surface on a slow sinker and watch how slow it actually sinks, and then kind of based off of that, figure out and estimate where that bait's going to be. And otherwise, friggin' give them hell, rip some lips. I think that about does it for this week's show. I really do.
Hell yeah.
I'm not mad at that. We haven't had a real good short show in a while. Now, let's take a look at the calendar here, Joe, because we do have a bit of a big day coming up on the 24th. So we're going to record next week's episode on this coming Friday, right? That's the plan. Next week's episode we will not be recording on Friday. We're going to be recording it live at the party on the 24th. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, go over to jigsandbigs.com, get your tickets. We got a bunch of folks who have been picking their tickets up now. I think we're going to be in for a really, really amazing event. I will say on that Friday, the 23rd, Fishy Trivia is happening. We're doing 2 rounds with a bonus question in there as well. Maybe even 2 bonuses. We'll see what we can work out. And again, by playing and winning means that you're going to get extra additions onto the wheel on our for the giveaway right there. We've got some fantastic prizes that are up for grabs. So go ahead, get your tickets, get that all set up. And if you're interested in Fishy Trivia, man, it's going down. You will see it in the invite for it is over at jigsandbigs.com. It's where you would get your tickets. It's all listed right there. And some folks are booking rooms as well. I got a heads up today that the Pendergasts are booking their rooms as we speak, apparently, which is awesome. I don't think I've seen. I don't think we've seen the Pendergasts down here for a minute. It has. It's been a little bit. So looking forward to it. It should be really good, guys. Jigsandbigs.com is a website. Get your tickets now. The show is going down on Saturday, the 24th. It's over at Nathan Bill's Bar and Restaurant. And we're going to have ourselves one hell of a time. It's going to be a blast. Almost to Muskegon. Oh, wow. All right. Have a good week. Have a good week, Todd. You guys have yourself a great one. We will see you with more Jigs and friggin' Bigs goodness. What a freaking week. I'm hoping I can get some of that water off that boat cover. That would be great. I got to find me a squeegee, and I got to find it quick.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Joe, you got anything you want to throw out before we wrap this sucker?
I got nothing, man. We'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely. It's going to be a good one, guys. Buckle up. And remember, if you're catching them, tag us in your fish picks, please, because it is slim this season, and we can use all the good fortune. What are we, 68 days till spring? I think so.
We're almost there, dude.
I think so. Like we always say, that's the wrong button, Bobby. That's the right button.
Tits and ass, smoke some grass.